Okay, here we go. All right, we're going to demonstrate fomentation, and Yarrow has agreed to be my guinea pig.
Oh, wow.
Now, he has done this before, but not with water. Apparently, they did it just with towels and stuff, so he gets to have the real thing today. I'm going to check his blood pressure, and he already knows about this treatment, so I don't have to explain it to him. But if he didn't know, we would explain to him what we were going to be doing. There we go. So if you don't know how to do blood pressure, it's pretty easy with one of these things. Make sure your person doesn't have their feet crossed. So uncross your feet. There we go. And we'll check his blood pressure. It makes it pretty easy. And also, there's different kinds of thermometers. This one here has 3 different modes. The mode of room temperature, surface temperature, and also body temperature. And this is the one to get if you're going to have the best use in your home, because I will want to check the water temperature to make sure I'm not burning somebody that has diabetes, for instance. So we'll just check his temperature, and 96.9. So he's got a good temperature. He's not over hot. And his blood pressure is 104/66, the useful blood pressure. Okay, so we will have explained to the person the treatment. Now, I'm going to explain it to him so that you guys can hear how we're going to do the treatment, okay? Let's put this away. So inside this bag here is a damp towel, which I need to heat up to make what's called a fomentation. The fomentation will be wrapped in this wool. Sorry for all the moving, but that's why it's called a demonstration, right? So this one here will have the hot towel wrapped into it, okay? And then we will put that on the back, and that one will stay the whole treatment. It doesn't get moved. It stays there, because once it's under your back, it's not going to cool off, at least not that cold. And then we will change the ones on the chest 3 times, okay? And what I use is the microwave to heat these up. You can use an oven, wrap them up in aluminum foil if you do that, or your white towels might turn brown. You can use a steam kettle where you canner, and just put it up high. You wet it down so that it's steaming through a wet towel, but you don't dip it in the hot water. Or you can dip in the hot water. And I take a dry towel and I bend it like so, and you can just pull it like that and have hot water. So, I mean, we're talking all kinds of different situations here where you might not have access to electricity or something, then you can try other ways. The thing is, you just need a hot towel to start your treatment, okay? So we'll start this here and get it hot so that he can have his treatment. The way I have the bed set up is right here is a towel to protect my bed from if you have one of these kind of tables and you put hot right on this plastic or leather, it starts to deteriorate. So I'm protecting my table with a towel from the heat. So that's here, and then it's just made like a regular bed. The blanket is, of course, to keep the person warm. You do not want any chilling to take place, so you'll want to wrap carefully the blanket around the individual so that no air is getting around their close to their body. And you'll see what I mean when he has his feet in here. It's likely to get air underneath, especially right here, and they get cold underneath the legs because they're going to be bent into the bucket. So also, I've put a towel underneath the bucket to keep it from getting the bedding wet. And also, when he's done the treatment, this will be used to dry the feet. Okay? keeping a running dialogue is not going to be the easiest thing. I've never had to talk the whole time. But I'm going to go ahead and get his feet in warm water. This thing is already hot. And what I will do is put the water in here first so that he can be able to put his feet in. You'll want to make sure it's not too hot with the thermometer. Or if you don't have a thermometer, you can use your elbow. This is going to be too hot, so I'll have to add some cold water because it's very steamy. So much like a baby bottle where you put the milk right on your arm there, you can just stick your elbow in and you go, yeah, that's too hot. For my elbow, it'll be too hot for his feet. So I can just add some cold water. Excuse me, I'm going out of the camera. And then it really should be full enough to have it up above the ankles. And for somebody that's really sick. But this one's warm, and if you want to crawl under here now, you can put your feet in the warm water. Okay? Just take off your, okay, yeah. So you're going to come over here and crawl in underneath the sheet right there. Okay? And then I will put the warm thing under your back after I get your feet warm. Okay? There, I don't want you to be cold. Do you need your glasses, or will I be able to take them off? Okay. All right. Where's Mommy? Is she in here? Or Daddy? Yeah. Yep. Okay. So he told me he's tried this before, but not with water. All right. Let me get your feet over here, and you just let me know if you think it's too hot for you. This good? All right. Good, good, good. Be careful not to get your sheets wet, because a wet sheet, if you've ever had a little bit too hot? Okay, pull them out. Let's put a little cold in there. A little more cold. You just set it down on the towel there. A wet sheet can really make you wet and cold. So let me just put a little more cold in there. And it's very easy to overdo it, so be careful when you change the temperature with cold water. It can suddenly be just too cold, so I think this will be good now. All right, up you go. There you go. Is that good? It's much easier with a smaller person. You know, if you're working with somebody that's a very tall or big feet, you might have to turn the bucket around a little bit. You don't want it to be too tall, because the knees, there's this angle here that doesn't work too good with a tall bucket. So these ones are very inexpensive to get at Myers or something. They're called dish pans. Dish pan. Dish pan, yeah. Mm-hmm.
They are available in the kitchen area or what?
It's in the area where you can get like stuff for the ironing board and that kind of stuff. Household. Now this one is hot, and I'm going to put the next one in so it's heating up. And we'll take the wool. I'll do it right here. Sorry if you can't see me over there. This can be very hot. This one doesn't feel super hot this time. The second time would be 3 minutes. It could take longer. It depends on your microwave, but you want it to be hot enough so that the person can get warmed up, right? And it's steaming, so it's warming up. You see the steam there. Now I'm going to be putting this one under his back, so it'll be a little awkward for him to sit up. Normally you would have this one done already. So, do you think you can sit up with your feet in there if I help you? Okay. So we're going to put this one, hold on, there we go. inside this one here, just to protect the table and his skin. I don't want him to get too hot. So you have the hot one inside, and then another towel over top to protect them from getting too hot. And you want it to be on the spine. Okay, you lay down. Can you feel that heat?
Yeah.
Yeah, does that feel good? All right. And you want to make sure that they're not too hot, so you can let them tell them to tell you if they're too hot. You can put another towel there. He can sit up. He can say, I'm getting off of here. I can't stand this anymore. He can do that too.
Was the towel damp?
It was. I wetted 3 towels before you guys got here and put them in plastic bags. And so now I'm heating them up. Now the head is the only part of the body that cannot be heated up. We want to keep it cool. So what I will do after I get his chest warm, chest fomentation put on, we will put a cold to the head, and you will change that about every couple of minutes depending on if they have a fever or not. Sometimes it's 5 minutes. The whole treatment may not do anything for him because he's not hot. But when you have somebody with a fever and their faces are red and stuff, you're going to be changing the cloth on their head and face a lot. So inside here, I would put ice. The water is so cold here that I'm not going to put ice in here because it's already so cold. But normally you would use a lot of ice to do the contrast. Michigan has cold water. It's like 50 degrees. So I'll go ahead and put this on him because he was outside playing, and well, he's a little bit warm, but just put it over their forehead. If they're sick and they have hurting eyes, just put it over their eyes like this, because the light is hurting the eyes when you're sick. So you can just cover the eyes, and then the cool feels good on the eyeballs too. So.
Is this only during for the fever or any other?
Beg your pardon?
This kind of a therapy is only for people who are having fever, or it's for
Oh,
in
this,
general?
you could do this. I'm doing it on a well person right now, and it's going to improve his immune system, actually. If he and his dad go traveling now to where there's maybe a flu bug or something, he's probably going to have, he will have a much better chance of not getting sick, along with the diet that they eat and stuff like that. So we want to keep these towels going because the treatment, you want to keep things moving along and not have to wait, but it's not an exact 3 minutes or 5 minutes. It's just, hold on, see here, Claire. It's an approximate time between 3 to 5 minutes between changes. Okay, so it's quite tedious to do something like this, but it's worth it because the person is just laying here. They're going to feel better afterwards, and there's no side effects to this except for the extra work for the laundry maybe. Or if you were to burn yourself, sometimes that can happen. I've not scalded myself too badly yet, so I just use a plastic bag. You can use plastic or rubber gloves for yourself for protection. These wool blankets that I'm using here were bought online from Amazon, and I don't think it was 100%. I think it was 80% wool. So now he has a shirt on, so I probably don't need to put this towel on him, but we're going to do it anyway just to show you how it's supposed to work. And if you're working with a lady, let me just show you the difference there. You don't want to give somebody privacy, right? So you can put it underneath the towel like this, under the sheet like this, let them organize it on themselves, and then you can pull this sheet back and they are covered, okay? And so then we put the hot towel here. I mean, that feels good, huh? Yeah. And this will be on for 3 to 5 minutes. Is it warm inside on your back and on
Yeah.
your feet still? Feel good? Okay. Throughout the treatment, you just want to make sure there's no cold getting to them. And you can add warm water. You can add warm water to the foot bath as needed. I just need to put some more water in here. It won't take a lot of extra water at this point because his feet are already warm. And I don't want to turn this on until the microwave's done because my experience with microwaves and hot pots is electrical outages. So you want to be careful with that. So he has warmed this up. You can, this blue blanket is not wool. You'll have a hard time finding wool blankets, so I have been using terry cloth and other things like that. It's hard to find them, I had to cut one up to make this fomentation, but they're expensive. How's that?
It's good.
Now, are you thirsty or did you come in here hydrated? You could use a drink of water?
Maybe.
Okay. So you want to offer them drink of water. Not everyone can drink laying down. I use a straw that has a little bendy thing on it. So we'll get some water here. Is this water okay? Okay. Otherwise, I was going to have to get some bottled water. We don't use ice water for people. They may feel like having ice water, but it should be room temperature, not super cold. So here comes the straw.
Mm-hmm.
Good? Mm-hmm. All right. So usually when people are really sick, they'll drink a whole glass of water easily during a treatment. All right, the next towel's hot already. Can you believe it's time to change? You know what this means? So this is the contrast part. Usually it's done straight on the skin, but he has a swim shirt on, so it won't be as cold to him. You can use something like this. It's called a ice mitten, and it's made from 2 hand towels that were sewn together, like this. Or you can use a washcloth, which is too small for him, or you can use a hand towel, and this is what I prefer to use, especially if I'm working with ladies, which I only usually do, and children. This is much better for privacy. And you need to always keep that in mind when you're doing treatments. So this part of the treatment is called the cold ice rub. You do it no more than 30 seconds, and it's done to the area where the heat has been applied at this point of the treatment. So we're ready for a contrast? Yeah, he says okay. All right, so we'll only pull this back as much as necessary. You want to remove your fomentation, being careful not to bump the person in the with your elbow in the head. That towel is very hot still. Now this is a trick that not very many people have learned. I learned it during a demonstration before someone showed me how to do it. So you want to grab the towel that's been protecting them on the corner here, and you got your wet one here, and you're going to pull across like this. And on wet skin, they're going to squeal, and you're going to give them a 30-second rub. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Daddy, did you bring him a dry shirt?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to dry him off. If he's real skin here, you're going to dry it off. Okay, and then because if you don't dry them off, the heat transfers and it can be more chance of burning. So But we're not using super hot towels today, so I'm going to put this one back on you because it's still warm enough. And we're going to start the next treatment, okay? You feel okay?
Yeah.
You're not too worried? All right. Always keep a good eye on your person that you're working with. Sometimes when they're sick, they don't tell you what's going on. See, they call it active listening. Sometimes you're not actually talking, but you're watching and seeing how they respond. They might wince if they're experiencing some discomfort, but they think you know what you're doing, which I do, but they won't transfer that information to you. So you just want to make sure, are you okay?
Yeah.
All right. Your feet, you want some more warm water there?
It's good.
You think it's good enough? I'm going to heat some up just in case you change your mind and while the white microwave is not going at the moment. There we go. And my water actually has gotten warm in the cold, so I'm going to add a little bit of ice. And when you're working with somebody with a lot of high fever, you're going to go through, I would say, for one whole treatment, about a half a bag of small ice that you buy. About half a bag it takes for one treatment. That's with people with a fever. If I'm just doing this for therapeutic reasons, I don't go through that much ice. They don't have a fever, and it's just not making my towels are staying plenty cold. So. Another thing you can do is have more than one washcloth in there, where you just throw the hot one in there and the other one's already in here cold and ready to go. And you grab it before you take the other one off so that it's a smooth movement. So in other words, I would have one here and the other one I have it, and it would just kind of slide like when I took this one off. And the sick person needs as little manipulation as possible. Now this is the number 3 treatment. So we do this in 3 cycles of hot and cold. So this will be his, this will be his 3rd hot chest one. So we'll just make this one up. If you have a helper, they can do this for you while you're taking care of the person. Also, you want to make sure you're not leaving the room when you're doing these treatments for people. It's very important that you keep an eye on anybody that's having hydrotherapy because you don't know how they're going to respond. So I get this one ready, and then I roll it up. I roll it up and have it ready for when I do the transfer, and I'll put it somewhere out of the way where it's going to stay warm. And when that water's hot, which it already is, I can add it to the feet, and then we can do the chest for the last cold. How do you feel? Good. Good? You can also do this because the one side is cold still while the bottom is hot, and that way you get 2 uses out of one washcloth. And these are things I've learned doing this treatment so many times. So this is very hot water. If you're going to add hot water to a basin, you need to be very careful not to burn the person whose feet's in there. And the best way to do that is to put your own hand between where you're pouring the water and their feet. You're not going to pour this hot water on yourself, but you might pour it on somebody else if you're not being careful. So I'll just say, put your feet to one side, okay? And then they can have them basically out of your way. And you just pull this back ever so slightly, and I will pour the water down this corner here, and I'll have my hand between it. He's going to have to tell me, though, when it's too warm, because my hand has just been in ice water, so I am actually conditioned, and I won't really be able to feel it for as closely as it is. The other thing you could do, is you can use one of these thermometers, and put it on the mode of a room temperature or surface temperature, sorry. Surface temperature, it says it's 98 degrees in there. So to me, it feels nice and warm because my hand is cold. And to him, it's still warm too. So we just put a little bit in there, like maybe half a cup, swish it around. And I'm watching him, and he's thinking, I'm not sure, I want more warm?
Yeah.
It's good enough? Okay, so we're not going to add any more because we certainly don't want it to go beyond his limit. And we put the blanket back and the sheet back down around the basin. Like that. And y'all warm?
Yeah.
All right. So now we're ready to do his next cold. And this will be his second cold. And if you were to use these mitten gloves, I'll just show you how to do it, in case you want to do that. It's a little bit easier on grown-ups to use the gloves. I personally don't use them because of the people I treat. Women, it's not as easy for me to use these. So, but the men kind of like them. You put them on each hand like this, and you'll be going like this, okay? So, ready for that?
Yep.
All right. So pull that off. Oh, like, thank you for training your son so well, wherever you went.
So online is asking if we can do this for pain or flu.
Yes.
Teresa.
Yes. Okay, ready or not, here it goes. All right, cold. So you can see how this might be better, having two hands going back and forth. And you have to flip it over because it gets warm. And he's not yelling, he's very, very content here. If he had a bad cough, he might be coughing more as you do this treatment because it aggravates it a little bit. And I'm going to use this one to dry, and then I'm going to get another towel because this one's quite wet now from you having the shirt on. Normally you wouldn't use a shirt for this, but we're just trying to give him some privacy here. Okay, let me get another towel. I go through about 7 to 8 towels for one of these treatments, so hopefully you have a line dry at home so you can dry things, because the ones that are not touching skin can just be dried. Okay, so now we're going to put this last heat on. How's that?
Good.
Too warm?
No.
It doesn't feel like it. Okay, good. Are your legs warm?
Yeah.
Okay. So usually by this point, people could start actually getting sweaty. If they are not warm, put on another blanket. If they're still not warm, you can put a fomentation on their legs. That doesn't happen to too many people, but I've had it happen to myself when I had COVID. I couldn't get warmed up for the treatment, so they had to do extra fomentations for me. So, because the fever was pretty, even though it's only 102, it's still uncomfortable. So we're going to be almost finished here in 3 minutes.
Was there a question about a shower or something?
So I talked about a shower earlier, I think, for my own self when I did a treatment. When I was really sick, they did a shower after this.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So.
What was the water temperature for the shower after?
You know, I wasn't allowed to control it. It was on the outside, and all she did was ask me to tell her when it was warm enough. And when she went to cold, I think she decided how cold it had to be, because it was very cold. And I remember squealing. There was 16 nozzles in that shower. You could not get away from it. You were dancing and around in there. It's like, stop, stop. And I remember I was crying too, because I was sick, so you need another drink of water?
I think I'm good.
Okay. I noticed your lips are a little bit chapped though, so make sure you drink more water after you get done, okay? Another thing that you can do for someone with a fever is make sure that you have a little bit bigger towel or get a second towel and you put this on their cheeks, like this, on either side, and even their lips, but don't do their nose. For some reason, putting something on the nose makes people feel like they're going to get claustrophobia or snuffed out or something. So, but just his cheeks are actually a little bit red from the treatment, so hopefully Daddy can give him a rest afterwards. Because I have raised his body temperature a little bit doing this treatment. And after the treatment, you take a 30-minute rest. That is actually the most important part of the whole treatment. It's during this 30-minute rest that your body is reacting to whatever's happening to it from having the hot and the cold. So it's a very important part of the treatment. I've had people fall asleep when I'm doing this treatment on them too, but usually not too long because this last treatment is finished now, so we're going to finish up. And this is the part that you guys can kind of just watch while I do because it happens pretty fast. I'll take the one off the head because he's going to be getting the cold on his chest and his arms and his legs and his feet and his back. And so it's just a lot of going on now. But we want to stop the treatment, so you want to stop it with the cold. And so that's how we do it. Okay, you ready? All right. So this one will not be coming back on him. Take this one off. And those people that are watching online, you'll not be doing this treatment for real with clothes on, just underwear or a pair of swim trunks, because the skin needs to have this whole treatment on here. Okay, so here we go, cooling him off again. And he's going to be more cooled off from the wetness. He's a good sport. All right. So then we'll dry off. And I'm going to leave this towel on him so he doesn't get chilled through the rest of this treatment with this shirt on there. Okay, we'll cover this back up. Now we're going to do the feet. Some people do the arms at this point. I do it later. Just that's the way I was taught. So it's not really wrong or right reason. All right, so we're going to put your feet in cold for 30 seconds, all right? So just keep them in there until I get it over here. You're going to feel all these funny towels that are in here. So you can lift it up. All right, and now we're done with this. I'm just going to slide it under the bed, out of my way, and up a little higher. All right, there you go. All right, he's such a good sport. I like to use a towel on the person. And if they say they can't stand the cold, you can take it out again. It doesn't have to stay 30 seconds, but it's a good idea if you can get it that long. The towel rubbing on the feet makes it more bearable. It's a friction. Okay, you left your feet out and set them down on the towel. And now I'm going to wrap his feet like this because I'm going to do his legs next. So I just don't want his feet to be cold. So although I had them cold, we now want them to start warming up. And you can take your big towel or your hand towel, whatever that you have in there, and rub the legs. Now, the treatment goes up to the groin, but I will just do up to the knees for him. But when you're doing this treatment for real, you want to go at least halfway up the leg, okay? And you do it for 30 seconds, both legs. You can do one at a time, and usually you will do one at a time on a grown-up. His legs are so small, it's easier to to do him all at once. And then we'll dry off his legs. Give it a really good frisk. That was warm, wasn't it? If you don't think the blood's flowing in his body right now, he is really getting warm. All right, you're going to stretch your legs out, okay, and let him lay down. And I'm going to cover you back up, okay? And you don't want the person to get chilled, so you just wrap it up good. And the next thing we're going to do is one arm at a time, okay? Now, people who have younger children, you can do this treatment as well, probably as young as around 3 years old. That's about as young as they are tolerating this kind of treatment. You can have a story hour or something going on so that they can be entertained. All right. It feels, wow, you're warm. It feels really good to put the cold on the hands at this point, and then do the whole arm. I usually will grab the person either like this, let's go like that, hold their arm really tight, or the hand really tight. And, you know, if you're doing a really large person, you're going to a lot of arm mass here, you know. So you'll have a lot to go around. And then make sure you dry afterwards. Very important that you dry this part. And then you're going to tuck it in again. Does it feel dry?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we'll stick it underneath there. All right, we'll do your other arm. Now, normally I would do it standing on that side, but that'll be in the way. So there's another way of doing this treatment, reaching across like this, and it works just as well. There we go. So the cold is activating and the friction rub is activating his body, sending extra blood to this area. And the neat thing about the treatment is while you're in the rest time, your body is moving all this blood around. You feel all rosy and warmed. Is it dry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, down here.
You got it. Down here. How's that?
That's good.
Okay. All right, now we're going to do his back. This is people's most unfavorite part. Usually, you're very sensitive around the kidney area to cold, but it's just part of the treatment, and it'll be all over really quick. 30 seconds, you can handle it, right? All right, you want to assist the person to sit up because most people have a hard time sitting up from this point. He probably can do that. I usually grab the pillow and just to get them up and sitting up. And then I remove the heat from the table because if they're able to, if it's not wet here, they can stay here and rest. We'll put it underneath, okay? I don't want your shirt so wet. All right. Let me dry you off now. Feel dry?
Yep.
All right, so what we're going to do, because it's not wet here, he can lay down. And for 30 minutes, if you want to put the towel underneath your shirt, you can. Is it bothering you to be wet? Okay. He doesn't have to stay here 30 minutes, but this is what you would do for the treatment. After 30 minutes, you check the blood pressure, pulse, and temperature again and see if it's come back down to what it was when you started. Now, if they had a fever, you're hoping it came down, right? the blood pressure and the temperature and the pulse all should be somewhere normal after 30 minutes. So, what do you think about your treatment, young man?
It was nice.
It was nice?
Yeah.
You're going to be all ready for your day now. But you really should take a little break. You did get very warm. Okay, so do we have any questions? We got done pretty quick. We have the mic, or do we want to do that?
Yes, we do.
So that everybody can hear. Up front here.
Oh, yes, perfect.
Now, if you had like a sore shoulder, could you just do hot and cold packs on the shoulder area?
Yeah, so this treatment is called a revulsive general treatment, but you can do a certain area on your body. It could be any aching spot on your body. You could do this exact way I was doing this on that one spot. So like we could do people's knees, for instance.